going on, guys? Chris Chu here, martial arts nomad, Arnis International.
Turn right onto Conway
Thank
Road.
you for interrupting my intro, car. But here with another exciting episode of Carpool Colleagues. I've got about a 35-minute drive ahead of me, and, well, I'm not going to be talking that entire time, but figured might as well get some content made while I'm at it. This topic, I have no recollection if I've gone over it before in a previous video. So let's see what happens. I think I've hinted at it before. I think I've hinted at this ideology before, but as you can tell by the title of this video, is that unique to your system? That's a terrible title. I'll think of a different one. But this whole conversation sparks from someone I met probably 3-4 years ago, and I was at a martial arts gathering and watching a bunch of people teach, and it was so much fun to be exposed to that much stuff. And I remember watching a guy do a thing, and I was like, oh, that move's pretty cool, it's really nice. And the guy says, yeah, it's kind of unique to our system, we're the only ones that are really doing that. And I took a second. I wasn't rude, I wasn't outright disrespectful, I didn't know the guy from Adam. So I was like, oh, that's nice, that's cool, awesome, well done. And I just moved on from there, and I thought more and more, and I analyzed the move even more. And I thought, I don't need to analyze the move, this is stupid. You're not the only one who does that move, and to believe so is arrogant.
Onto Conway Road.
And I'll think of it this way, I'll show you the move because I'm coming up to a red light real quick in 2 seconds. The move itself was off an empty hand strike, and all it was just a boom. You shoulder check, or you checked the shoulder before it could strike, and it was cool, it was effective. I had seen it before, I know people who've done it before, and I've seen it since, and that was again 3 to 4 years ago. And the fact that this guy had the audacity to tell me that, oh yeah, we're kind of the only ones that are doing that, I was like, dude, there's 2 ways to take that. There's 2 ways for that to be perceived as. One, you're ignorant, you don't know any better, you don't know other systems do things that you also do, in which case that's fine. Maybe don't speak with such a level of arrogance, but you know, that's okay. The other thing, sorry, my back is killing me, folks. The other way to take that is you truly believe yours is the only system that does it correctly. You don't care to learn anything else.
In 9 miles, turn left to merge onto State Road 528.
Ignorance or arrogance, those are the only 2 real ways to take when someone says, oh, our system is the only one that kind of does that. Now, here's why I say that this is a good conversation piece to have. I'm not going to besmirch anybody, I'm not going to call anyone out, but we've all seen people who say things like that. We've all seen arrogant instructors who think that their stuff don't stink and that they're the best of the best of the best and that it's their way and no way. And I am by no means a master, I am by no means a chief instructor, grand master, grand poobah, none of those things. I am simply a martial artist who has a burning desire to continue my more physical education. Sound pompous in my explanation. I just want to learn more, and I want to learn from anybody who's got something cool to teach me, because I don't think I have all the answers. In fact, I know I don't. So I want to learn from everybody. So when I meet people, I'm a very quick judge to see if I have something to learn from them. Not in the skill set, because this person, again, was skilled. The person in question here, he was very skilled. But do I want to learn from someone who is either that arrogant or that ignorant? No, I don't. Ignorance is temporary, stupidity is forever is a quote I heard a while ago, and I fell in love with it. And it mostly remains true. But I don't think that that's a good enough, I shouldn't give that pass to someone who is that ignorant and thinking their system is the only one who does something. I think that's kind of just not a safe mindset to have. So, and I never learned from this person, you know. That was also the first time I'd met this person. You know, a first impression's a lasting one. It was a really bad first impression. Like, really bad. But now let's go into this ideology. Let's talk about this for a second. Is your system the only system that does X? Probably not. Here's why I say that. And I'll speak, I mean, I could speak to multiple avenues, but I'll make it even simpler in the terms of FMA. Expo marker. Here's my stick. There is only 3 ways to utilize this weapon in an aggressive, offensive fashion. There is only 3 ways to initiate the attack, is what I'm trying to say. Only 3 types of strikes. I just offended a lot of you, I'm sure, and bear with me. You have a forehand, you have a backhand, and you have a poke. Everything else is a variation or a...
Goes this light. Then at the next one, use the left lane to merge onto
a
State
version
Road
of
528
those
west.
3 strikes. Whether it's a high line, oh, look at that, still a poke. Whether it's a low line or a mid line, because I can't get the low line on camera. Mid line, still a forehand or a backhand. Just because it's not up high, it's still a forehand and a backhand. Just because it's not down low, it's still a poke to the high. That doesn't matter. There's only 3 types of strikes with a stick. Just like there's only roughly 3 types of punches. There's a jab, a hook, and a back fist. Well, no, because a back fist is kind of even like a jab.
To turn left.
A jab and a hook and a cross. But no, you still do hooks with a cross. So I mean, from the cross hand. So there really is only so many ways to manipulate the body. Our bodies are finite structures, which means we can only do X amount of things. So when I say all this stuff, I look at people who say, oh, our system specializes in this. We're the only system that does that. That's not possible. It cannot be possible because there is no way in God's green earth that after all the time humanity's been here, you are the only group of people who've thought of moving that certain way. Now, you might be one of the early ones, you might be one of the few ones, but there is no way for you to be the only one. And that's the problem that I see some people thinking. You know, I remember seeing a video a while ago that, is FMA responsible for Shotokan or something like that? Or, no, it was something along the lines of like, is this ancient karate move really an FMA move? And I looked at the question and the title of the video, and it was a very well thought out video. It was just kind of stupid because the move was this. It was a outside block or an outside forearm block because it was alluding to the guy who mentioned the FMA thing. Oh, it's like Hubud or whatever. And I looked at the guy, or I looked at the video, and it said, oh, well, there's evidence to say that the Filipino skeletal remains were discovered in the Okinawan villages of whatever. And I went, or it's absolutely more possible that in that village of 30 people, they learned how to fight by fighting each other. And they learned, oh crap, blocking that way doesn't work. Let's try blocking this way. You know, I don't think that you can credit systems for creating movement. I don't think that. I'm sorry. I don't think there's anything, and I come from modern Arnis, which is one of the more broader FMA styles out there, and Professor took a lot from everybody. I don't think he created any of the movements. He took them and made them his own, which is what we all should be doing. But going back to the point, that's a whole other topic. Is your system truly all that unique when you've just broken down that there's only so many ways you can do anything? I think that's what people need to realize, that when it says unique, when I say that the system is unique, and when we say that systems are unique, we need to be looking at the cultural things about them. I had a beautiful conversation with Guru Dan Lohman and Grandmaster Shelley Millspaw recently about Kali Silvestrissimo, and I see those guys do stick stuff, and they swing sticks like this, with their hands out like that. Oh, it's getting raining. They swing it like that, and I asked them, I said, why is that? Why do you swing your stick that way? And they went, oh crap, we don't even notice that anymore. And then they showed me on one of their training blades, which forgive me, I don't remember what type of blade it is, but because of the way their blade art is, they have their hand a certain way. That is a unique cultural difference. Absolutely. A unique cultural subtlety. They are not the only ones who do that, but it is their thing. That's why they do it. And they have a cultural reason as to why it is for them. You cannot have a cultural reason why you do a push. Humans have been pushing since the dawn of time. I've worked in child development for years. I was a young child development teacher, and one of the first things I saw kids learn how to do when I started at 2 months old all the way to 11 years old, and then I taught older other things to the early ages. At about 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old, a kid learns how to push something. When they're even littler, when they're a year, maybe 8 months, maybe 6 months if they're really progressive, they learn how to push their own body weight up. They've learned how to push things since they were babies. We've all known how to do it. Now, if you try to tell me, oh, well, the reason we do it is because we're pushing away the sharks that are attacking us on the island, and those sharks are native to this region, which is the same region our martial art is formed, then sure, I guess you've created a unique reason. Excuse me. But you cannot be unique in pushing. The freaking NFL does it. They call it a stiff arm, you know? Or an interceptive push, you know? I don't know. I think people give themselves way too much credit in certain things, and they try to make themselves seem like a bigger deal than they really are, which is fine, you know? I'm not discrediting you for trying to make your business and keep your money flowing, but don't lie to people and say things that are just not true. There are only so many ways to swing a stick. Only so many ways to punch something. Only so many ways to do X, Y, or Z. Don't try and take credit because you created the jab, you know? It's just not true. Only so many ways to throw a kick. Front kick, side kick, and I don't know. Front kick, side kick, hook kick. Everything's a variation of those three things. Only so many ways to throw an elbow. Forehand, backhand, or vertical. And actually, if you're really going to get to it, there's three types of strikes in general. It's a horizontal strike, and a vertical strike, and a poke strike. Or I guess you call it linear if you're going to go directional. And if you can build off of all of those concepts of the three types of stick strikes, forehand, backhand, and poke, you only need to know a couple counters. Now, there is so much more, and that's the art of it all, and that's the beautiful part. Again, all of this, I'm going back to this idea of, I'm not trying to discredit people for adding things onto their stuff and making it, you know, their own. I am discrediting those that think that just because they don't think other people do it, it means that they're the only ones who do. Because I don't like arrogant instructors. I've worked with too many of them. I've seen too many of them. I hear enough about them online. I get angry when I hear them have a platform because, in my opinion, when you see bad apples, they ruin the rest of the bunch. Again, I'm just a nomad martial artist. I am no one special. I am not doing this for money. I'm doing this because I'm truly, genuinely, passionately in love with martial arts. And maybe this strikes a chord with some of y'all. Maybe this is my way, or, you know, as a wake-up call for some of you guys who think, oh, wow, I kind of do that. I've been known to be arrogant. I've been known to be ignorant. These are all things that I've had to learn and work on, as well as we all should continuously try and strive to work on to be better representations of the art that we continually practice in. You know, it's really easy to think that we're the best when we've gotten some platform or gotten some air, or we're the chief instructor of a group, or we're the grandmaster of a group, or whatever. When we have students, it's very easy to become arrogant. I learned that very early on. My father quickly corrected that when I sent him a video once when I was younger, and he said, hey, what you just did was incredibly arrogant. You need to watch yourself. Not everyone has that blessing to be coached through the phone. I was. So I want to see martial arts thrive. And the more arrogant, narcissistic people that exist, the more harm that it receives, ultimately in the end. And I don't know. I look at my background as a martial artist. I look through my Taekwondo background, which was my first official art. The first art my dad ever taught me unofficially was was boxing and modern arts. Unofficially, when I was a kid. You know, jab cross, hook, tappy tappy, empty hand trapping, blah 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 blah. My first official art, which my back is really jacked up, people. If any of you are professionals, it hurts when I breathe in my back. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know how to fix that. The chiropractor couldn't do it. So, where was I going? Oh yeah, the first arts I've ever done. Boxing and modern Arnis were the first unofficial arts my dad ever taught me as a toddler. Parents split up. I didn't do martial arts for a little while. Got back into it when I was 10. Was in Taekwondo for 5 years until my dad taught me anything officially. Then I did Taekwondo for another 5 years, so 10 in total. But as I did modern Arnis, and I learned from so many people, from the Shotokan guys, from the small circle jiu-jitsu people, from the other grappling arts, there's only so many ways to manipulate the body. And I think that if we focus, and I said this a while ago, I forget who, and again, I'm not saying it's my quote, I'm just saying it's something that I say often. If you go into learning, I told this to a guy who's done martial arts before and wanted to do a different thing, a different style. And he was like, well, what do you think I should do? Or what do you think I can do? I said, you can always learn from somebody. If you go into that new group with the idea of, I'm going to find the differences, you'll be incredibly disappointed. If you go in there looking for similarities, you'll be happy. Because there's no point in trying to be negative about these things. Like, yeah, we're going to have some differences, yeah, but I promise you, if you go from, and I'll speak again primarily to FMA, because there are only so many ways to swing a stick. Barring the cultural, geographical differences of why things are the way they are, FMA is incredibly similar. All the styles are. I don't care which one you refer to, I can find a way to relate it. It's just that simple. It's not, well, it is, why not? Because Remy would say this, it is all the same. Which has also offended people. Don't care. It's not my words, it's Remy's words. But and to the extent I agree with them when I say this, when I speak on this methodology of there's only so many ways to do something. There's only so many flavors of ice cream. You can add on as many toppings as you want until it just falls off, but that's the thing, like, you can have as many toppings of ice cream on the ice cream, but it's still got to be back to the ice cream. You are eating ice cream. So many flavors, so many toppings, but at the core of it all, it is ice cream. There are only so many flavors and only so many toppings. There are only so many ways to swing a stick. Only so many ways to throw a punch. So is your system's art all that unique in the movements? Not geographically, not culturally, not societally. I almost said scientifically, but that one doesn't sound right at all. Sociologically, socially, whatever. Are the moves unique? And from my limited experience on this earth, 27, I've worked personally with several different FMA groups and several different martial arts. They're all really similar. And I'll end it with this story. I had a new student come into the dojo one morning. It wasn't my class, it was a buddy of mine's class, and I'm just there to hang out with him and train with him a little bit. New guy comes in. Never done any martial arts a day in his life. Guy whose class it is starts teaching stuff. The guy's having a really hard time picking it up. Like, just not comprehending it at all. And I was like, hey. And we're really close friends, so I knew I could do this because we brought it up in the past. You mind if I try something? He was like, no, dude, please help me. I'm not getting it. I said, all right, let's work this out. Hey, man. What have you done before? What do you mean? What have you done? Sports-wise, athletic-wise, dance, hip, I don't care. What have you done? No martial. Okay, no martial arts. What have you done? Powerlifting and football. I said, oh, okay, cool. And you could tell the dude shredded, like jacked shredded. Not There's a difference between shredded and jacked and all. That's another video. This guy was both. He was shredded and jacked. So I was like, awesome. All right, show me a 3-point stance. I played a little football. I've watched football, and I know enough about most sports that I can make things relatable. Show me a 3-point stance. Shows it. Perfect stance to a T. All right. Shorten your stance. Posture up. Hands here. Now switch feet as if you're doing a 3-point stance to the other side. You just did triangle footwork, which is the first move in FMA, one of them. I did this one time with a 17-year Russian ballet dancer. Phenomenal on her feet. Tiptoes were like rocks. She didn't need steel-toed boots, they were steel. Never done martial arts, but did 17 years of Russian ballet. All right, in ballet, you do a motion looks like this, right? Yes, all the time we do that. All the time we do that motion. All right, cool. Can you do it for me? Yeah, sure, I'll show it to you. Boom, does it. All right, shorten that up by this much. Put one hand here, one hand here. You're doing an FMA stance. Oh my gosh, it's that simple. Because it is that simple. And I understand not everyone can teach that way. Not everyone prefers to teach that way. I'm just telling you, for me and my teaching experience, and I've been teaching for 12 years, 13 years? 13 years. That's what I've seen works best for me. You know? You have to find a way to have the student learn. So that's what we do. We have to find ways to make things relatable and teachable. Now this all goes back to my original topic of, is the movements really all that unique? No, they're not. Because I can take anyone who's never done martial arts, give me any sport they've ever done, and I can find a way to make it relatable. Because they've already done the motions. You know, one of the first motions that they learn as a baby, for you parents out there who raise their children or with your kids at an early age, do you know what the first motions they pick up is they learn? This motion. This motion. What does that look like? Palace, palace, tappy, tappy, whatever you want to call it, empty hand, transition, whatever. Because it's supposed to be, we're supposed to be building martial arts based off gross motor skills. That's a bad sentence. What I mean to say is, the life-saving techniques that are going to save your ass in a fight are going to be gross motor skills. Will not be fine motor skills. Your martial art is about gross motor skills. Yes, it should be. All the techniques we do, all these unique movements should be based around gross motor skills. Fine motor skills are fun. That's when you get the tricky stuff. But all in all, we should be doing things on a different level. In the sense that, one second, I'm trying to figure out how to get past this guy. Take it. Appreciate it. But anyway, I said all this stuff today. I've talked for 23 minutes, and I really don't want to cause a fight, but I also don't care if I do, because I feel like this is a good open discussion we can have. Maybe you have a move that's completely unique to your system. Maybe you've done FMA or karate or BJJ for 40 years, and you're the only group that does this. Awesome. Show it to me. Send me a clip of you doing it. I would love to see what makes your system so unique. Now again, I'm not speaking to cultural, I'm not speaking to geographical, I'm not speaking to whatever else that's besides the actual technique and the gross motor skill movement, because you cannot take claim for a gross motor skill movement. That's a great way to put this. You cannot take credit for a gross motor skill technique. You will never have been the first one to do it. I don't think it's possible. Unless a guy gets born tomorrow with 3 arms, and his 3-arm gross motor skills is in his art, I don't think it's possible. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys now. Yeah. Weird conversation. Thought it was important to have, so we did. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my trip in relative silence. The rain is gone. Might look the window down, smell the fresh air. It's a beautiful smell. And yeah, let me know in the comments below if you think I'm an idiot. Let me know in the comments below if you think that I'm completely wrong and I'm asinine and I'm a foolish and I'm completely sacrilegious and disrespecting all the ancestors of FMA. Because it means I'm doing my job right. I don't mean to be offensive, but I also try really hard to not be offended. I could be completely wrong, and I'm okay with admitting it. But I truly think I'm correct here when I say that people who try to take credit for a push are either ignorant or they're arrogant. And that's a problem. As martial artists, we got too much of that going on, you know what I mean? Alright guys, I'll check you later. Bye.